read the shirt and weep. Also, I've already filmed this video before and it was super rambly, so here we are again. Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel. So for today's video I have one that I've kind of done research on, but not a lot. We are going to talk about mainly tattoos in the workplace, and also I'm going to give my little opinion at the end, but I've looked at a couple of articles that have different facts about tattoos in the workplace, and I'll have them linked down below so you can look at them. And I also know that one of the YouTube channels that I watch, called Ready to Glare, is that her name? I think so, has done this type of video, and she also used one of these articles, so I'll have her video linked down below as well for you to check out. So yeah, we're just going to get started, and I have my phone with me because that's where I took screenshots of some specific points of the article. So this one article, they asked 327 employers about how a candidate's tattoo would affect whether they get hired or not. And overall, 14% said that they would be less likely to hire someone with a tattoo, while 23% said it would not affect their decision. So that's kind of comforting. And then the rest said it depends on the tattoos, and I'll kind of touch upon that in a little bit. So from that, the first question was, where did it go? There it is. Would a candidate having tattoos affect your decision to hire that person? 13.85% said yes, they would be less likely to hire them. And I'll have these on the screen as well so you can look at them. And not a lot of people said it would make them more likely to hire someone. The most said it would depend on the role that they were trying to fill. And I guess to a certain extent I can see that. I know from personal experience, my last workplace, the fast food restaurant that I worked at, they had a policy of no visible tattoos. So that's why I almost got fired for this one when I got it, but it's a long story. But I just had to wear a Band-Aid over it to cover it because it was a company policy. But yeah, so I guess to a certain extent I could understand that, but it's just, I'll talk about my opinions later. So basically their initial findings were that 77% of employers will or might be less likely to hire someone if they have tattoos. Yeah, we'll leave that there. The next question was, do you take people less seriously if they have tattoos? Which just, that question in general just really pisses me off. But yeah, anyway. 22% said yes they do, while about half said no they don't. So that's good. And then 18% said it depends on the situation. What situation? What possible situation? I don't understand. And again, these values I'll have on the screen. If I talk about any, whatever I talk about, I'll put on the screen. The next section, they had a bunch of different quotes about tattoos, which I'm not going to read all of these again. I'll have them on the screen so you can pause and view them. But some of these kind of tie into my own personal opinions. So yeah, we'll just talk about a few of them. One person said that tattoos are fine, just not on the face, and nothing that promotes racism or hate. Someone else said no matter how much meaning they have for the owner, they're just not attractive or professional looking. That is an opinion. That is not a fact. One person may find someone the hottest person on the earth, and the other person could look at it and be like, meh. You know, like, attractiveness is an opinion. It's not a fact. So, just because someone has a tattoo, that does not make them less attractive. Okay? It may to someone because that's their opinion, but not overall. Just get that straight, okay? Learn the difference between facts and opinion. It said, it does affect my decision-making process when hiring. Let's see. This person, I won't read all of this, but they said that tattoos are becoming commonplace within our society and that to a large extent the biases against ink persons are disappearing, which that is true. Like, more and more people are getting tattoos and more people are becoming accepting of tattoos. So I'm hoping that a lot of this job bias will go away because of that. Because it's getting to the point now where not a lot of people out there don't have tattoos. I was like that for a little bit, but it's a long story. I always say that. But, you know, like, even just a small tattoo somewhere, there's people that don't have sleeves or anything, yeah, but they have some kind of tattoo, so. And then this quote I absolutely loved. And, like, this is from that one person that said that they would be more likely to hire a candidate because they had tattoos, and I want to meet this person because they sound super awesome, but they said, I look for signs of character. Unique hireability comes from finding the gem. Despite what so many people think, top talent rarely fits the cookie-cutter mold emerging from business schools. I love that, because having a tattoo, like, some people say that you are going into a cookie-cutter mold because you're following other people that have tattoos, but that's not true, because you're not going to, unless you copy someone's tattoos, which is wrong, but you're not going to have the exact same tattoos as someone else, and you get to express your personality and your individualness, because, like, your tattoos show who you are. You know, that's what mine do. You can see them in my tattoo diaries that I've done. You know, they show who I am, but they also don't define who I am, if that makes sense. More on that later. So then another article just kind of looked at percentages of people who had tattoos, and they surveyed 2,700 people, and they found that 12% reported having a visible tattoo, and then 3% reported having a visible body piercing other than an earring. So that was pretty interesting to read. And I also but these statistics were interesting for me to look at. They were talking about, like, the education levels with tattoos, which is why this shirt that I'm wearing is so appropriate. 20% of people with tattoos are high school graduates. That number drops slightly to 19% for those with associate's degrees, but falls for 10% for recipients of bachelor's degrees. Keep in mind, I did not have my tattoo when I got my bachelor's degree, but I have a bachelor's degree and now I have tattoos. So the fact that someone says that one is dumb or becomes dumber because they get tattoos, that's not. And then people with advanced degrees are even less likely to have tattoos, as 8% of those with a master's and just 3% of PhD recipients have ink. Which, that's interesting to me because, as you may or may not know, I'm in a master's program right now. I'm getting my Master's of Arts in Teaching. And when I entered the program, I had 2 tattoos and I got a 3rd. And I have always wanted to get a PhD. I'm striving to get my PhD just as soon as I can afford it. And I'm in the right place when I can. And I'm going to have my tattoos with me when I get that PhD. So, those numbers were very interesting for me to read. And then they also, which I'm not really going to read these, I'm just going to say for my area, 41% think that tattoos are inappropriate. Awesome. Because I live in Tennessee. But I'll have those broken down here. It seems like the least is going to be in mountain regions. that's interesting. And I just love, like, research and stuff, so that's why this stuff is really interesting to me. If you don't find it interesting, I'm sorry. And then I also looked at tattoos by industry, which again I'll have displayed on here, but I'm not going to read them fully. I just want to breach on mine, which was education, child development, and family services. 12% of people in those workplaces have tattoos. So, all of this to say, I am going into the education field, hopefully, and I'm going to have tattoos. With that being said, I agree with that person that talked about face tattoos and inappropriate or racial tattoos. I mean, of course, like, that's, no, because that blatantly goes against the First Amendment, because you're endangering, you know, someone else's beliefs, and that's a whole different discussion in politics and stuff, which we're not going to get into, but it's just, don't do it. As far as face tattoos, like, it could be totally harmless, but it's just kind of weird for some people. Even for me, I don't like neck tattoos. I'm probably will not get a neck tattoo. Probably won't get a face tattoo. I just find them personally weird, and I think especially for someone that works with younger children, I may scare them a little bit, so, like, I deter from that. But otherwise, in the education field, even if someone has a sleeve, you know, their whole body, with the exception of their neck and face, is covered in tattoos, I think as long as they're appropriate for, like, the workplace / school environment, it's fine. And I've even seen discussions, because I've looked this up, where people have said that it was a way for them to connect with their students, because their students saw their tattoos and they found them fascinating, and they asked their teacher about them, and it was a way to open up a conversation with their students about who they are and just to connect with them. So, I mean, they can be used for good. So, yeah, I personally don't think that a job should be based on looks, like hair color, piercings, tattoos, what have you, because those don't define a person. They may define their interests, but they don't define who that person is overall in their integrity. Because me, like, when I got this tattoo, it didn't change my work ethic. It didn't change who I am. I'm still a hard-working person. I strive to succeed. You know, I'm still good. I don't like drinking alcohol just because I hate the taste, but still, I mean, I don't want to do drugs. I don't want to smoke. You know, any of that. It didn't change any of that. It's just I have ink on my body. That's all that changed. And I think that we need to take a look at that. So, yeah. Those are my thoughts and my findings on tattoos in the workplace. Let me know what you think. If any of you are in, like, a big field and you have a tattoo, let me know. I love to hear different stories. And, yeah, with that, I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.
All that's left is a window to my soul. Come and get it. swallow down your jacket's in. Let it drown inside my veins, the sweetest poison I could take. You make it an art, the way that you scar with every word. But before we reach the end, strip me down